Hey there, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Your Concrete Success Podcast. This is your host, Danny Barrera, right along with my partner and spouse, Maddie Barrera. Maddie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here, as always.
Beautiful. Awesome. Are you excited about this episode?
Oh my gosh. I am so excited about this episode because I think that out of every question or concern that we have in the agency ever from our coatings clients, this is the number one pain point. So I'm very excited to be talking about this.
That's good. So we're looking to bring value, solve problems, and what's the title?
Okay, so the title of today's podcast is Bulletproofing Your Sales Process.
Bulletproofing your sales process so you can sell more floor coating jobs and more decorative concrete work. Is that right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And this is a very, I believe, sales is and has got to be one of the main emphasis on mastering at any point in your business. And I'd like to share when I started Concrete Marketing Crew, this was a point of reinvention for me. I was running under an agency called Contractor SEO Agency, and I had a ton of clients from roofing to plumbers to painters. And that was a point where I had just gone through divorce and I was trying to figure out where to go next and focus. And I found one of my mentors, Josh Nelson and Jeff Fisher at the Seven Figure Agency. And I wanted some direction, some clarity. And they told me, okay, they asked me a couple of questions about my background and who have I served, etc. And I clearly said, I don't feel too comfortable going after the professionals, professional services, attorneys, medicals. I just don't feel that comfortable there. But I told them a little bit about my background, my upbringing, my father being in the trades. And really at that point in time, I was living like quite literally, it was probably worse than paycheck to paycheck. And I had nothing else going for me. You met me shortly after that.
Yes, I did.
And it was sales, my ability to understand how people buy, that helped me out and bring value to the table and clarify and distinguish myself when I was literally just starting out a new brand, Concrete Marketing Crew, from zero. And I want to have you consider, like, you're going to have this conversation. Well, what's your credibility? What have you done? Like, why should I listen to you? And I like to share just from my experience personally and what I've been able to help my clients do since we started here. Since we started, we've helped our clients sell over $100 million in their services through our marketing and sales help that we've offered them. As well as myself, I've sold over $7 million in digital marketing services. And all my coaching students that I've coached in the agency space, they've sold a combined of over $12 million in digital marketing services. And I don't know about you, but digital marketing services and marketing as a whole is probably one of the most complex and most competitive sales. So to be able to earn the trust of someone that's on the fence, that's probably has gotten burnt so many times, you got to build up a good case on why they should hire you. So I'm so passionate about sales because it wasn't until I realized the power of sales and the impact that you get to have on other people's lives by having them commit to something that's going to better their lives and their livelihoods that I started producing more and my life started changing and we were able to hire better people over the course. You want to share a little bit about that transformation? I mean, you saw me really right from the beginning, like learning how to sell. I've taken so many courses, have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on masterminds, coaches, courses, etc. on sales.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember you printing out the questions, the objection type questions and like the scripts, and actually asking me to go to Office Depot to buy you one of those big science poster boards that we have when we're growing up doing our science experiments. And you would cut out all the questions and the scripts and you would put them on that poster board. And you actually had that sitting in front of you at all times in your desk so that you could actually reference all of that stuff. But since I've known you, when I met you, like you said, you were reinventing yourself. But for you, the biggest treasure or the biggest thing that you carried with you through your divorce, through your transition, were your sales, your Dan Kennedy sales and marketing and all that
Grant
stuff.
Cardone, Dan
Grant
Kennedy,
Cardone,
all the books, you name it. It was right in the back of my
back of your car,
my Nissan, right? And that was the one thing. It wasn't even my clothes that much.
No.
Like I had to go and get clothes and stuff from my ex's place later on. And this was me like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months after we'd separated, going to divorce. I'm like, man, but my books, like those were prized
Yep.
possessions, like my Bible and
Mm-hmm.
books, because here's what I knew and what I understood is if I just mastered this one skill to be able to sell people, I know I'm going to be fine wherever, whatever happens to me. And I went through the grind. I put in the work, and I want to emphasize this because a lot of times you're thinking because you open up shop and you invested so much in your material, in your products, in your machines that people owe you the sell. Like just because you're saying that you're selling a better product, but there's an art and a science to it. And I like to share from my standpoint. I'm not here to claim that I'm a sales guru by any means whatsoever, but the tips and the strategies we've helped our clients implement have helped them go from 2 crews to 4 crews, 4 to 6 plus, and stabilize their business when they're in the startup phase. So what do you got for us today? What questions?
All right. So let's start with the first question. So, what's one of the biggest problems you see when it comes to sales in this industry? But I want you to focus on giving us the differentiating between the biggest difference between you see between these coding companies that are growing versus the ones that are stagnant. So, the biggest problem.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different problems. I like to start off with one specific item that just came up and that's very recent, that's still very hot. It's still in my heart, in my head right now. And is this one thing that's a big problem? And it's got to be removed from not just yourself as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, but from every one of your team members and salespeople. Look, I don't care how much better you are than your competitors. There is absolutely zero reason to disrespect them or go out there into the marketplace and start talking bad or negatively and spreading lies and rumors about your competitors. That is the lowest of the lowest. That means you don't know how to sell. That means you're probably struggling with internally. So this is a problem perhaps I see more in the Facebook groups, like, hey, this competitor is this, and that. Or I see sometimes in our clients' ads, we see competitors jumping in and putting negative comments. That doesn't help you anymore. It actually makes you look less competent. And this specific instance is from someone that I consider to be a friendly competitor, like a friend that I actually know, and I've helped him out when he was in the startup phases. But it was hurtful. Like if it was from a stranger, I get plenty of comments from the outer world that I don't care. But this individual I actually care about. Like I care about his well-being. We check in here and there throughout the years. And this one caught me by surprise. I'm like, man, what's going on here?
Yep.
But that only makes the individual and his company and the representation look bad. So it's a problem that's got to get removed right from the roots, however you feel. And instead of putting that energy towards making other people look bad or trying to make them look bad, it only makes you look bad. Put that energy and focus into learning the discipline, the art and science of building a sales process for you and your team. So coming back to your question here, you're wondering what's one of the biggest problems is the lack of a sales process. And the sales process is going to be very unique to each individual company. However, there are ways. Like for example, there's the pre-sale process, pre-sales. Can't even pronounce it. How do you say it?
Pre-sales.
Pre-sales. Teaching me how to say it, which is selling and addressing objections before they even come up, right when you show up at the door. And this is something next month, in September, we have a big push for our clients here internally called the launch calls, which means we're launching them in their initiatives and their sales ability, in their follow-ups and follow-throughs. One of the main things that we're going over is this pre-sales call, the before you even show up. You see, because you have so much leverage, you've qualified a prospect over the phone, and you've asked them, you've gotten to know them better, and you've set the expectation. Hey, here's what's going to happen during our design consultation. Someone's going to show up at your door. We're going to do this, and that. And by the way, in the next couple of days, I'm going to be sending you over a couple of emails. Can you do me a favor, right? Can you just take a few minutes to go over the couple of documents we sent you over so that you can go over it with your partner, right? At that point in time, I'm giving some assignment selling, pre-sales material that is going to help me overcome objections. For example, I don't know if you've gotten this. How many times do you get clients telling you, "Oh, I'm getting questions and objections about the price is too high, or I'm a dollar more than my competitors."
Yeah, but we're gonna get to that in a minute. We're gonna get to those
Yeah,
questions. We're gonna talk about like guys. This is like gonna be a super interactive podcast
yeah, yeah,
episode
absolutely.
because we're actually I'm gonna guide you through the whole sales process, and I'm gonna have Danny actually
Yeah,
like guide you through the sales process, and I'm gonna throw a curveball at you at the
yeah,
end.
100%.
Okay.
Throw me all the
I'm gonna
curveballs.
throw you a curveball. We're gonna do this live, and it's gonna be like really fun.
Well, that's what we're talking about, the pre-sales,
Correct.
because in the pre-sales, like, give me one objection. It's you're a dollar more than your competitor,
Right.
right? Do you know you can build value before you even show up at the door? Have you pre-framed your prospective client in the fact that the quality of your product, the installation, maybe the experience, maybe the warranty, and defining the differences between different warranties, and educating and giving them materials so that perhaps this is the top 10 questions you should ask a concrete coating contractor before you hire them. And what if you give them the top 10 questions and also give them the top 10 answers that are pre-framing them so that they understand the questions they should be asking? And already when you have that discovery and design consultation, now you've built so much value to it. So this is the pre-sales process. What's one of the biggest problems I see? It's actually you're just showing up at the door, cold fish, and by that time, I think about this. Someone just saw your Facebook ad, and you show up at the door and you're trying to sell them something that's multiple thousands of dollars. Versus you show someone sees the Facebook ad, they get some follow up, they book the estimate, and now there's some follow-up materials building the connection of the relationship with that prospect so that by the time the salesperson shows up at the door, they're educated and they feel like they're in control. And now they're going to be asking you questions that you've asked them to ask you, right? Does that make sense? So the
Yeah.
pre-sale is a big deal. I don't see it. And then the lack of a sales process, which is like how you show up at the door, what does it need to look like? Are you going to sit down with them? Are you going to ask them if you can find a place to sit down and have a conversation? So we're going to talk about some of those things here.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did answer my question. But say I'm a stagnant coatings company struggling with sales. Where should I begin?
Perfect. So I would ask you, where are you having the most struggle within your sales process? And it could be like, I don't know what to do. Like if you're stagnant, that's a sign. Hey, I'm showing up at the door. I'm not closing any deals. Walk me through your sales process. Walk me through how we're showing up at the door. Let me see how you look when you are showing up at the door. And it doesn't matter how small you are. Actually, the smaller and the more effort you put into the small details in showing yourself up as presentable, someone that is guiding the person. Like we're going to dance lessons, you and I, and there's a guiding principle. It's like someone's got to guide the person. You can't expect the consumer, the end consumer. You have to make them feel like they're in control at all times, but yourself, you're guiding the entire conversation, how you're showing up, how you're saying hi, how you're smiling at them, right? And then how you're introducing yourself, setting the agenda. Hey, Mrs. Johnson, here's the way this call or this conversation is going to go. It's going to be about 30 minutes or 35 minutes. I like to go over the design consultation, make sure that I hear you out and see exactly what is it that you're looking for. We're going to take some measurements out in your garage floor or your pool deck. We're going to look at all the options, and once you get a design that you like, we're going to put some numbers together, and then I'm going to answer any questions you have, and I'll present the pricing to you, at which point in time you get to make a decision. And I'm really excited to have this opportunity to earn your trust and be able to do the floors for you, right? And you smile, right? So you can see how me just saying that, now the person on the other side is expecting an experience versus me just showing up. Hey, Mrs. Johnson, how are you today? Great to see you, right? And you can be loud, and that person's already, like, what is this guy gonna do? Remember, you want to put them at ease so they're comfortable. You get to build the trust and relationship on the spot. People say, hey, you got to make a friend. Yes, you got to make connections. You got to make them feel comfortable.
Yep, that's true. Very true.
So that's a big thing there.
All right. So let's walk everyone through this bulletproof sales process, okay?
Hmm.
So, first off, how should a pre sales call look like?
Pre-sales call. Okay, so the pre-sales call. So there's the appointment setting call. The appointment setting, and it's more like appointment vetting, and that's the appointment for the sales conversation. You get X amount of leads. You want to have a script or a framework that you follow, and you want to remind the prospect of where they heard from you. Hey there, Mrs. Maddie. This is just Danny here with ABC Concrete Coatings. How's your day going today?
It's going great.
Great, great, perfect. Hey, my name is Danny. I am here one of the sales consultants or the design specialist over the phone. My job is to get you booked in so that we can have that design consultation in person and answer any questions and present the free quote that you request over Facebook. Is this a good time?
Yep. Great.
Perfect, perfect. So just a couple of questions here for you. First thing I would like to ask is, I'm curious, what motivated you to request an estimate here for your garage floors?
I replied to your ad. It looked really pretty, so I decided to see what it costs to get a garage floor coating.
Awesome. Now, is this a new home, or you've been in this home for a
I've been
while?
in the home. It's not new.
It's not new.
No.
Okay, awesome. And you own the property, is
I
that right?
yes, I
You
own the
own it.
property.
Excellent. Do you happen to know just a ballpark, the square footage?
No, I don't know the square footage, but I know it's two cars, a two-car garage. I'm
Two-car
not sure how
garage.
much square footage that is.
Okay, gotcha. And as far as the condition of the concrete, have you gotten it tested for humidity levels or just to test the condition of the concrete recently?
No, I have not done that.
You have not done it.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that's something that we're going to help you do. We're going to figure out when we're doing our in-person design consultation. Okay. Now, last question here. Are there any stains or oil stains in the floor, or any major cracks that you see?
Yeah, there's some oil stains underneath where I put my car.
Okay, got it. And then as far as the project scope, you're interested in the project. You're looking at to get installed now. Is this a future project? Are you just curious about what you're going to get into?
For right now, I guess I'm just curious to see what I'm gonna get into.
Beautiful. Now, if we get to design the floor that you desire and you like what you see there, would there be anyone else other than you present to help you make that decision? At the moment?
It's gonna be me, but I would definitely have to consult with my husband.
Awesome. What would it take for both of you to be there so the design consultant can actually work with both of you and get you all on the same page?
I'll just have to check with him a good time when he can be there with for
Okay,
me.
perfect. Would you be able to just text him real quick so that we can get a good date on the calendar here?
Sure. Give me a
Okay,
second.
perfect. Awesome.
Mhm.
Beautiful. All right, so you can see I'm controlling the conversation. Team, I'm just kind of just winging it. If you notice that and you're listening to this, first and foremost, thank you for listening on the podcast. If you're watching this on the video, here's a couple of goodies. If you send us an email at info@concretemarketingcrew.com, I'll send you over the framework that I'm just walking Maddie through. Now, Maddie, at any point in time, did that conversation make you feel like, resisting, or is this like a conversation?
No, it's a conversation. I think that your demeanor too is a big deal when you're having these kinds of
Right.
conversations because if you're like super pushy or like even like almost like you feel like a little bit desperate or something, like the consumer can kind of like feel that. So I feel like that at ease kind
Hmm.
of cool conversation is a big it's a big part of it too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so make sure you follow us on social media, follow us here on YouTube, and if you're listening to this on a podcast, subscribe so that you can get notifications of up and coming episodes. Very important here, but again, if you send us an email, info@concretemarketingcrew.com, and put in appointment setting script, I'll send you over the script, and you'll have to know our team to respond to them with that script. We have a Facebook group that we'd like to invite you to where you can get access to that. So let's continue the conversation, right?
Right.
So now you've gotten your partner. Okay, so it's going to be Tuesday for 11 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
perfect. Now, just a couple of other questions. Just you're going to help my design team make sure that they're ready and they show up ready for you. So, are you looking for something that's going to be a long-lasting solution for your floor, something that's very durable, or it's something just quick and easy, kind of like the Home Depot quality?
I mean, I guess it depends on price, but obviously I want something that's going to be durable.
Right, right. And just to give you some perspective here, the Home Depot kits, you can install it yourself, you can do it yourself, and some people are under the impression that's gonna last, but ultimately, like we've seen our clients call us, like they've installed it 2 months ago, and the question is whether you're looking for something that's going to be beautiful, long-lasting, anti-stain, anti-scratch, and we're going to show you some samples as we head in there. And our solutions are meant to be long-lasting, so they're priced to help you get the right solution for your floors that are going to last you exactly how much you need them to last you, which ultimately is a lifetime. Now, just wanted to confirm if that's what you're looking for. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, perfect. Boom. When you're dropping this kind of information over the phone, you can see it. You're anchoring value. You're anchoring possible objections, because right now we haven't gone into pricing. Some people will say, give them an average square footage price, right? Hey, just give them how much is going to be per square foot. If that is how you like to conduct your qualification calls, at that point in time, you can do, hey, it ranges anywhere from this to that amount, but I can have that conversation more in depth. Depending where you are in the business, I can tell you, if you pre-frame the consultation and then you also ask them, hey, is this going to be an investment that you're going to make with your money or our money? That's a Tommy Mello, which positions them to, if they want to apply for a payment plan, to work with a credit company, right? So you want to understand that quick. Now we've spent a good few minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, maybe a little bit more, but now wouldn't you consider that to be a qualified prospect?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
And now what happens after we've done that call?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some assignments out. Hey, Mrs. Johnson, so what I'd like to do is you do me a solid. One last thing is, could you send us some pictures so we could take a look at the floor condition here, and we can save them on your client profile. And the next thing is we're going to have our design consultant give you a call the day off or the day before the appointment. And there's going to be a couple of emails coming your way and text messages just walking you through what our process looks like. So one of the things that we like to give you is the top 10 questions to ask when you're working with a concrete coating company. These top 10 questions is all the single questions you must be able to ask and get answers from anyone you're getting an estimate. Is there anyone else that you're currently shopping around right now to get a quote for your floors?
Yeah, there, I'm kind of shopping around to see different prices for different companies.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. So I have you here with Dennis. He's going to be there at 11 a.m. on Thursday, right? Any questions, anything else I can answer for you?
No, that's good for today.
Beautiful. All right, look out for my text messages, and we'll see you on Thursday, 11 a.m. All right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I will say that when you have this type of sales process in place, before you actually reach the client, it does set you apart. It makes you like, and even later on when you're talking, like, say, pricing, if they bring up competitors or whatnot, like the value that you've added in your process, all the stuff that you've given them, the questions, the PDFs, the text messages, all that stuff has so much value. It sets you apart. It completely sets you apart. And at the end of the day, I'm the prime consumer for this kind of, like, this is me, like someone in my age, my age range up to like 60. I'm not 60 yet, and I'm gonna tell you, I have gone with companies. There's different types of companies. I have gone with companies that have all the things in place because it makes me feel safe and secure that you're going to take care of me, as opposed to the guy that's really cheap that comes in like a regular truck with like a random t-shirt and it's like kind of rough around the edges. Like, I will choose the company that has all these ducks in a row,
Yes. And one more thing here, which is, this is for everyone. If you want to sell premium, you must understand the conditions you have to create for your premium client and what premium looks like, what it feels like. And ultimately, you could be installing less floors and making more money if you are priced at a premium. You could be installing less floors, make more money. And then there's the volumes game. Cheap product, quick install, in and out, like that's it, 5-year warranty instead of a 15-year. But ultimately, like with the warranties, there's a ton of debate. Hey, should I offer a lifetime, a
Yeah.
15-year? Everyone has, and that becomes part of your value proposition.
Hmm.
Something we're very big on is how are you differentiating yourself from everyone else? Because people are going to knock on your door and say, hey, I would love a quote. Now, the question is, how do you respond to that? So I encourage every listener here to go to really expensive restaurants,
Yeah.
go to expensive hotels, try to get yourself into like a Rolls Royce dealership and look at the treatment. I mean, we went to a Rolex store just
Yeah.
to check things out. They're like, do you have a customer profile with us?
Hmm.
You know, even if you're just looking for a watch, we can build your profile and it takes 2 minutes. But the treatment, hey, would you like a cup of coffee here?
Hmm.
It's very relaxed. Is nothing is rushed versus me trying to sound like a desperate car salesperson.
Right.
Like, hey,
Like
let's
that.
let's do this right now. Let's do this, Mrs. Johnson. Like,
Like that French
we
shop.
can do it. We can do it that way, sure. But if you're looking to sell premium, get yourself comfortable in going into premium environments. And another thing is, some people may not like to hear this, but I encourage all of our clients to shop their competitors.
Yeah.
I encourage our prospective clients to shop our competitors. It's a good thing to do is to understand. I want all of my prospective clients to have gotten calls with at least 2 or 3 more competitors. That's it. Because why? You know, Maddie, like if you build your value proposition and your sales experience in a way that's better than your competitors, they're going to see it. And what if you just become obsessed about that, about fine tuning the small things, right? Um,
Right.
and that's the whole thing. So get yourself in places, shop around, and listen to the pitches. Send them over to your cousins or your mother's house and get a quote. Some people may not like that, but you're going to hear what does that look like. How did they present yourself? And go to the top, right? Don't go to the low bowlers. Go to the top and see how they're coming across. What does their sales process look like? And you're gonna get a good idea too, in how are they pitching that's different. Give them the objections, and that's gonna help you out. I know a lot of competitors. They also shop us. Not a problem. Some have even become clients and stay with us, and then they go out on their own, and then they open up their own shop. That's cool. So that's that.
That's right. All right. So let's talk about the design consultation. Okay, we're gonna talk about the design consultation. What should that look like? But tell me why the first couple minutes at the door are the most important ones.
Oh, first couple of minutes, first impressions matter more than anything. Is how you make people feel, and the sales is very emotional. It's more emotional than it is based on facts, especially when you look at home improvement. There's no urgency there. So the question is, how do I build urgency on something that is not urgent right now? It's a luxury. So how do I build the value? How do I build the urgency? And when I show up and I make people feel comfortable in this conversation, and then they get to see the value as I build it, and I get to hear what they're saying to me and what's important. The design consultation is to hear out what's important to them. You see, because value is not built on my product and the chemistry and the install. Yes, that is important for the benefits, right? You got the features and benefits that the client get. But ultimately, the design consultation is meant to ask them questions. Okay, just curious as we're sitting on the table, Mrs. Johnson, what's important to you about having a beautiful floor at this point in time, right? What's gotten you interested in looking at getting a durable concrete coating that is going to be here? Are you looking to get a gym, right? At that point in time, you go through the design consultation. They're looking to make it an extension of their home, a living space, right? So all of those benefits, that's where you get to hear that. And then now you get to hear well, tell me a little bit more. What are we going to use this environment, this space for, right? And what are you envisioning? Okay. Are you seeing cabinets come up here? Are you also considering doing a repaint in the entire thing, right? So if you sell anything else, this is the time to start hearing them out and start building that client upsell right on the spot. So it's very important to have a design consultation where you get to hear them out and ask them questions. What are they interested on? What got them motivated to be in this specific 1 hour design call? And this is where I love tools like Flory,
Mm-hmm.
floor visualizers, where later on you get to take the prospect right to the floor and have them in a 3D rendering pick out the different colors, test out the different colors. Now there's a sample board right behind Maddie. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, or all the way point to the sample
This
to
way.
the other one. Right? So this is a sample board by our truly Valence. Pete Johnson sent that over to us, which is awesome. You don't need to carry a big sample board like that, but having the sample where the client can actually, touch it and see it and put it on the floor and talk to their partner and have that conversation, and now that becomes a collaborative design. They're investing their emotional energy into it. That's why the design consultation is important, and it's different for everyone, but there are ways to improve it.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about pricing. Why do so many coding companies struggle with presenting their pricing?
I love it. This could be a technology question. This could be a how you handle the business. Look, we're in 2023. In my personal opinion, you should present pricing in writing in a way and a format that people can actually feel it. When you make things tangible, there's a different level of connection. And yes, you can email the estimate and proposal and the numbers. Yes, you can email them the quote. But there's something special about you getting something in writing. And as you're collaborating, designing, and putting the pricing down, you don't need to do it. There's plenty of our clients that they're completely digital, 1,000%, 100% digital. But there's something about it as you're coming up with the numbers and you're presenting the numbers and you literally giving the numbers to them. And when it comes to virtual sales for us here in our agency, we get to share the pricing over the phone, but I also walk prospects through our website. I say, hey, please go to our website. And yes, if you're looking to commit and have a partnership or a relationship with us for X amount of time, this is what it looks like. And if we get to work with you for a longer time, you get better pricing. That's just a benefit, right? So, but they get to see the pricing, and now over the phone, we can invite them to join our program. But having them see something tangible as well as receive something right after you leave the space, right in front of them ideally, but almost in an instant, that gives you credibility on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And almost like security, because you have something to back up the job, like as a consumer.
Yeah.
It
Well,
gives
I'm
me
looking to get
security.
a deposit.
Right.
Like that's the whole thing.
Right.
Like, yes, have something where you can collect the deposit there and then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The days of going back and let me get back to you in 2 days to give you some numbers.
Mm-mm.
If you're working in a commercial environment, bigger project, and you have to go back out and scope out the project and see how much it's going to cost you. Yes, I get it. You need to do that. Like there's going to be those instances, but for a garage floor, you should be ideally collecting deposits to reserve the dates.
Yep. All right. So I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. Are you ready?
Sure.
So we already kind of did this in another question, but let's do some objection handling sprints.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
So I'm going to be the consumer. You're going to be the person selling
Go
the
for it.
floors. And then one of the things that come up is, well, that's too much money. It's about $1 over the competitor pricing.
Perfect. So again, this comes back to the pre-selling or the questions I asked before during my design or the collaboration during our call. I want to bring up all the objections before they come up. So for example, if they're speaking to other competitors, I want to know the numbers. Like I need to see them. Because if the prospect is sitting on the other side and they're telling me where they're $1.50 less than I am, and I'm just shouting numbers over the phone, or I'm just spitting out numbers without putting them in writing, right? And there's no reference as to the difference in product, in installation, in the actual company. Like for example, I want to ensure that I understand the prospect's value system, and their value system is different. Everyone has a different value system. Some people want the cheapest, and that's their value system. Mm-hmm. Someone that wants just the lowest price ever, precisely, that's all they care about. This lowest price, like I'm going to go with the cheapest. That's going to be a harder sell. You probably can discount the services and say, hey, this is the best we can do. But other than just the pricing, what's important to you about the product? What's important to you about having this kind of floor installed? What's important to you about the company that you're looking to work with? And they're going to tell you, hey, well, it's important that they show up on time, that they're clean, that they're professional, that they're going to be here. So at the point of me addressing this objection, I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to tell you, hey, Mrs. Maddie, do you recall when I asked you what was important to you about hiring a company that's what's going to install the floor here for you? You mentioned that what's important to you was the material that they use, as well as them being able to service you after we were gone. Like that was the biggest fear that you had. Do you recall that?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? Or you remember what you said, what you mentioned there?
Yeah, I'm looking for something that's quality.
Quality.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
A
Right.
good
So
product that's gonna last.
what we provide is a couple of benefits that are above the rest. One of the benefits is that extra dollar helps us hire the best installers that we can to ensure that your floor is going to be long lasting.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if I was charging you less, no one can guarantee I would be in business in 2 years from now, especially with the way the economy is going.
Mm-hmm.
So this extra dollar really is as much as we warranty the floors, it helps us stand and back up. A lot of these companies are coming out and I can't tell what they're going to be charging you or if they're going to the next. We actually have one day out of our entire week that we dedicate to our crews going back and service clients if at any point in time they need service. So you can expect for us to pick up the phone to address any issues and concern, and we're going to be there. Now, is that worth it for you?
Yeah, that's
When
a
you
good
look
one.
at it,
Mm-hmm.
that's important to you,
That's important.
right? So aside from that, it's only going to be X amount of dollars for deposit today. Any other questions for me?
No, that's perfect.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I have to work with you. I'm not going and battling with you and giving you like a specific rebuttal. I want to understand and address what's important to you earlier on, so I know when you're giving me the lowballing price later on, or hey, this is too expensive, or blah blah blah. I know how to address it. That's one of the best ways to overcome objections.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, what about when they say, I guess this one kind of is the same thing. It's a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
That's the same
It's
thing.
we're remember the pre-selling.
Yeah,
We want to let them know that this is not going to be a $400.
right.
Like for example, one of the questions is going to be, how much does this cost?
Mm-hmm.
Like how much is this? What's the bottom
Yeah,
line
what's
dollar?
the price? Yeah, that's the first question.
And
That
that's
like everybody gets hung over. Like if they're called and say, well, how much is it? You know,
and then you
it's up to
explain.
you to like warm up the sale. You know.
You explain we don't like to lowball, give you a lowball price, to get you into the door, only to have to sell you more expensive. We actually like to do it in this on the spot, and there's no catch, no gimmicks. So this is a clear and transparent pricing, and this is a real company. You can see our trucks. You might have seen our ads on Facebook, like this got you here. So we're gonna be here for a long time. So that's the whole thing about the value is, it's how am I building the value in everything that I'm doing in my company, in my people, in the products, in the equipment, in the service. And if you're charging more, give your customers the best service you can. That's the key, right? That's the key. That's
Yeah,
everything.
that is
Yeah.
the key. You're right. All right, Danny. I have no other
No other
questions for you.
objections?
No, I
I
have
thought
no
I
objections.
was ready for more.
But you've covered all of them already. We've talked about it's too expensive. I think that like the objections that we hear more so can be dealt with in the pre-sale call, and I
Yes.
think that there's a lot of value in that in terms of the sales process, because I feel like a lot of times like our coding, this industry doesn't spend the time in that pre-sale call,
Mhm.
and then when they get there, then they're getting all these objections that could have been handled during that pre-sale. So I think that out of everything that you said today, that's like the biggest gold nugget.
Yes, customers don't know any better. They don't. And you see, like salespeople have been trained to go out there and just close deals because that's the best thing for the customer. But you see, if you're doing that and working on that premise and your company doesn't stand behind the work and they're changing names every year or changing territories, and we've seen a lot of those companies that they love to sell, close deals, they're out of business in 2 years.
Yeah.
That is not going to cut it in this environment. So the whole focus should be serving clients at the highest possible levels, and serving them in such a way that they are comfortable and they're proud to say that this is what we've done. And this is why it's important to have the relationships with whoever you buy the product from, because don't expect to sell the highest product service with a high failure rate and have that be a good thing for your reputation in the long run, right?
Right.
Everything should meet the highest standards possible. And the moment that branding meets the fulfillment, it becomes explosive. Your cost per lead becomes lower, more customers. Like we see that all the time with our customers, our clients. We're running Facebook ads and people are commenting, "Hey, I love the floors. These guys are amazing. Like the floors
Yeah.
came out." Like that's when you know they're doing it right, and that's when you know you can increase pricing. So in a market that's competitive right now, or an environment where less people are buying or shopping, the whole goal is to understand what's important to your customers and prospective customers, what's important to them, and offer a diverse solution. So if you were just so focused in doing like one day coatings, maybe right now is the time to diversify. Pete Johnson from Valence, he's got a mastermind coming up next year in 2024. I highly recommend you connect with him on Facebook, and we're going to be part of it. So feel free to reach out to us for the details. But that's a big thing that he talks about, is diversifying in the products and installation, because that customer that maybe is not able to afford your $8 square foot or $7 square foot install in the garage, maybe they might go for a stain. You know,
Right.
so instead of you having your crew scratching their balls in the shop, not knowing what to do, or firing them, or just releasing them, now you got something. Now you could put food on the table for now, right? So this is real talk right here,
It is real talk.
right? So that's the reality. Instead of not offering anything, or look at what else you can have your guys do, and this is the time to double down on your brand, on your sales. And if you're a client of ours, we're excited to be releasing the launch calls, which are coaching calls. I'm going to be there. We're going to bring in other trainers in the industry to come and share what's working now. So that's to help you and empower this industry and our clients be able to do the best that they can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you if we could talk about what's gonna happen start September for our current clients and the coaching calls that you're gonna have. So that's kind of cool that you brought that up.
I'm excited. You dragged me out of the of the woodworks. It's like, okay, well, Danny, enough coaching the agencies.
I
Now let's
did.
get you into the environment where you're coaching our clients. No, I'm excited
I did.
to double down. And there is one mission that we're on for the next 12 to 18 months, but starting right now, not in 12 months. UC team, if you're listening to this message, first and foremost, thank you for listening. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, give us a comment if you found this helpful. It's very important for you. We're investing this time, we're investing in this environment here so that we can produce high quality content that you could put to use. So that's the premise. Whether you give us a dime, whether you become a client, great. If you don't become a client, work with someone that's going to take care of you. That's all that matters. But over the next 12 to 18 months, a lot of companies are going to go out of business. A lot of companies are going to go out of business. That's not a positive message to say. So what we're doing right here at Concrete Marketing Crew is we're working in helping our clients build their arc to make sure that they survive and they get to thrive in this environment. Because the cost per lead is not going to get any cheaper. When less people are buying and more people are competing for the same buyer, guess what happens, Maddie?
Yep.
What happens to the cost per lead?
Yeah, definitely.
Up or down? It goes through the roof. That lead that you were used to paying $12, $20 for now becomes a $40 lead.
Yep.
So if you don't have your sales process together and dialed in, if you can't pick up the phone and call that lead 3-4 times, you
Yeah.
don't have that. So this is not the time of luxury. A lot of people are going to go into different industries. Some will go back to work for competitors or bigger companies. You might see some of the bigger companies, those are have these systems dialed in. You know what their core focus is right now? Is in mastering and dialing in the fundamentals. Fundamentals is in way of systems, their processes, their numbers, and their people. Systems, processes, numbers, and people. And that's the conversations that we're bringing to the table at Concrete Marketing Crew. How do we help our clients improve their systems, their processes, their numbers,
Yep.
and their people? So reach out to us if you have any questions. Visit concretemarketingcrew.com. Anything else you'd like to share here?
No, nothing else. I think that's good. This was a very good and informative call, and I'm sure that it's going to bring a lot of value to all those that hear it.
Beautiful. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Your Concrete Success Podcast. We are here for you. We're on a mission to enhance the lives of 500 concrete coating and decorative concrete contractors by 2025 so that they can reach their dreams and live the lives that they desire. Feel free to reach out to us at Concrete Marketing Crew. Follow us, like this episode, share it with those that you think would find it helpful, and leave us a review on social media, on our podcast, Spotify, Apple. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.